If you're a devotee, Debra355, go back to when I was reading the book that I was writing. I read the first part, and then I went into more of chapter 1, and I left off where she was up in the office of this place where she used to work and was doing dishes and just kind of reminiscing. She was going back there after how many years and reminiscing, and she went back to her work site. So if you go back to the end of that video where it says more of chapter 1, and I'm sure you will all do this. You will all do this. I'm going to pick up where I left off. I wish I could have some music going in the background, but it would be just distracting. We sure don't want to do that, eh? Okay. It ended up on that last one, where she was washing dishes and it got her a chance to just think and stuff before work started. And she was doing dishes from the day before, and that people didn't do dishes maybe because they hadn't figured out the hooking angle yet. But in the morning, in that rapturous still of the morning, when she could hear the nuances of her own breath, silently mouth the lyrics of the hit song she did know when she finally turned on her desk radio and prepared her psyche to meet the rest of the world, it was almost a religious experience. It was just her, the occasional creak of the building, and the soft whoosh, whoosh of the percolator. She's in her car while she's reminiscing this. A warning horn from an approaching Mario Andretti canceled her go-for-it boot into the alley. No need to get your broadside of Danny, she thought as reminiscence resumed, bringing with it an increasingly large smile as Sylvie Marmolejo took frontal lobe. A formidable presence, Sylvie had been working at Rare for as long as the store had been in operation. Along with owning a hair-trigger temper and being the lover of a good practical joke, Sylvie's morning temperament was the antithesis of Danny's. She was one of those excruciatingly hideous creatures who greeted the morning with a song in her heart and a trill on her lips. Rain, shine, or tremor, from the moment she strolled through the back door and Birkenstocked her way up to the kitchen, Sylvie'd be humming or whistling medley of tunes that just did not hear well in the morning. I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find. Or, oh Mandy, you came and you gave without taking, and I sent you away, oh Mandy. Nothing could shut her up. I lost it for a minute there. Sorry. Not Danny's. Pretty goddamn please. Katie's I'm going to effing kill ya. Or even Sylvie's own PMS. Sylvie would have been skewered low these many years ago if she hadn't been so good at providing some comic relief. Danny'd almost split a gut one morning when she heard Marty pouring her cup of joe and strangling the latest Billy Joel. Got a call from an old friend, we used to be wheelboats. Said he couldn't go on the American way. What the hell does that mean anyway? We used to be wheelboats? What the hell are wheelboats? And what the hell do you find so goddamn funny this early in the morning, Woods? To this day, Danny wondered if anyone had clued Marty into the fact that it was real close. Had a call from an old friend used to be real close? Laughter wasn't Danny's usual approach to Sylvie's warbling, however. Bruxism was. Danny preferred strolling into her days, not pole vaulting. Grace knew Sylvie didn't use the added boost. But every morning she'd pour herself a Jethro-sized mug of caffeine in her I Heart Hispanics mug. It's from my nephew, Danny. Ain't it cute? Then she'd hum herself back down the stairs again. She doesn't do that all day, you know, Katie would laugh. She just does it to bug you. It was mutual. Occasionally, once or twice a week, she'd bury Marmolejo's beloved mug at the bottom of that newly scrubbed pile of melamine and stainless steel. Walt Disney would segue into an Eddie Murphy HBO special as Sylvie cursed her way through the pile. Jesus Christ almighty, where the hell is the goddamn son of a bitch thing anyway? If she hadn't heard Danny hooting away at her desk one morning, she would never have caught on. Why, you no good son of a bitch, Woods, you do that on purpose, don't you? Traffic suddenly cleared, and Danny booted the car in the alley. She'd missed Sylvie. With the exception of Yosemite Sam, no one could fume better. But it was all bullshit, really. Deep down, Sylvie was as soft as a wet burrito. That had actually been a flattering moment, you know. Only a select few attained son of a bitch status with Sylvie. Come to think of it, she thought as her mind continued its nostalgic tour of that fabled second floor, only a select few found eating lunch in the Avery kitchen a very comfortable enterprise. It was long enough to hold a party at the wrought iron glass-topped table, so space wasn't the problem. It was the sore cheeks everyone had at the end of lunch hour was sitting on the unforgiving wrought iron chairs. God damn, things would numb the ass of the Pillsbury Doughboy boy, Sylvie grumbled. Other hardware accessories were somewhat softer. On a manor range, 2 walls of cupboards brawling with the usual pieces of unmatched melamine plates, mismatched utensils, and a Frankenstein Frigidaire that made Fibber McGee's closet look like a cubbyhole. The shelves oozed with a menagerie of smelly brown lunch bags, alphabetic yolk cartons, decomposing pity pockets, and a party of glutenless-looking Tupperware. Periodically, someone had the conscience to clean the thing out, but no one ever owned up to it. It's you, Woods, Katie said. It's gotta be. You're the only one who's admitted about neatness. Look at your desk. Katie was wrong. Danny didn't mind playing Hazel with the dishes, but she'd steam-kettled enough icebergs off the Frigidaire in her own apartment to sink 2 Titanics. 1 ancient appliance was plenty. With Sylvie and her nephew's mug squared away, Danny'd spend the rest of her pre-work time nursing a steaming cup of coffee and whatever book she'd been reading or rereading at the time. Jane Eyre, Thornbirds, and her old nemesis, Shakespeare. Dozens of novels, and all of them consumed in the blissful hours of the morning when she could linger over the effect of a particularly well-smitten line without being heard. Jane, I never meant to wound you thus. Who set the fire, Frank? Who would have thought the old man had so much blood in him? The desk where she'd carried out these wannabe soliloquies had been on the U.S. side of the 2 mail-order departments situated directly off the kitchen. Mirroring tinted walls, scratchy tweed carpet, 4 antique desks that could have come from damn near new, and 6 overstuffed file cabinets. Every customer, hundreds of them, existed on 3x5 cards with a corresponding folder filled with 3 years of paperwork. She sotto-voce'd a day's worth of curses each time she sliced a finger on those damn red tabs put to the top of the in arrears account. There wasn't many, but there were always some, and it had rarely caused Lou, the owner, much more than minimal concern. If they pay it, they pay it. Put a glass of wine in her right now, and she laid down a 5 that if there were any tabs on the cards today, they were probably the same ones from 8 years ago. Right across from what had been Danny's desk, and just outside Lou's office, the owner, a rickety metal table that held only the phonologue, had kissed her hips with more bruises than she had skin for. A couple of hits every week. God damn it all anyway, Kate, she cursed. With 2 runs of black nylons, June Ellison looked like a slut. June who? Katie's knowledge of TV and radio had always been lousy, but ask her the most archaic anything about music, and she could kick the phonologue's ass across the room. The phonologue was a monstrous bookbinder published, she's forgotten by whom, that cross-referenced pretty much every artist, song, title, and probably 100 other combinations she had investigated of every song, cassette, EP, and LP currently available for order. It was the Bible of every record store. And until Danny started working at Lou's, she'd never heard of it. Lou's store received 4 sets of the updated goldenrod pages every week, 2 for the mail order offices upstairs and 2 for the store downstairs. Housed under that same rickety table, Lou stored a teetering collection of Billboard and Variety magazines. Danny hadn't been much of a rocker back then, so Billboard had been given a cursory perusal. Variety, however, was devoured within days of its arrival. Her reputation throughout the store for TV trivia had rivaled Lou's for jazz. Hey, Danny! The Mexican brother on High Chaparral. Sylvie says it's someone named Pepe. I say it's the other guy, Ricky or Dicky or something like that, right? I believe you mean Ricardo Montalban. Ricky Montalban? Yeah, that's the one, Ricky Montalban. Hand it over, Sylvie. Okay, it's Ricardo Montalban, but he's not the one you're thinking about. It was Henry Darrow, and $1 is mine. She steered the escort closer to the building, giving a Volkswagen room to pass. Lou Avery's domain, the doorway of which was scant inches away from the phonologue, had an unobstructed view right through the middle of the office into the kitchen. It was a perfect setup. And not because Lou was a suspicious man. He was just a man who loved a good snack. With an eye on the kitchen, Lou always knew when his wife, sister, and the store manager gathered for their mid-morning coffee break. Someone was always introducing a new granola bar or fruit at the bottom yogurt. Okay, now I'm going to stop there because everybody's going, well, that's all, keep going on about this descriptive stuff. Give us some startling incident. And I'll try and find that. Oh, that might have just cut out because it was too long. If it did, forgive me.